How are we all? Hope we're all doing okay. Welcome to this dumbbell strength workout. We have got two supersets, one lower body focused, well, they're quite full body really, and then a core and upper body focus. But yeah, they're really good moves. Hopefully get you feeling nice and bendy and strong. But yeah, we'll get started. So as always, grab your dumbbells or your kettlebell or no weights. You can do all of these movements unweighted, or you can grab a few tins from your cupboard or whatever's lying around. Do what suits you or what you've got available to you. Don't let lack of equipment be a barrier to you trying some of these things out. You will also need a thick book. So for example, a book, or if you have it available to you, a squat wedge. You can pick these up on Amazon. I think you have to type in yoga wedge for it to come up. But it's a useful bit of kit to have at home, and it just opens up new doors to different movements that we can do. I'll be using the wedge, but the book works exactly the same because it's just something to elevate the heels on. So we will get started. So the first thing we're going to do is an overhead squat. So you can use either a dumbbell and it's over the head like this, elbow right next to the ear, arm locked out, or you can use a kettlebell, twist it round so it is racked on the back of the arm, and that'll be straight overhead here, or you can just have one arm overhead. So we're going for a single arm, 6 on each side, so 6 with the weight in one arm and then 6 with the weight on the other. You're going to elevate your heels on your book or your squat wedge, and that is going to allow you to sit deeper into that squat. So grab whatever you're using, and we're going to take these really nice and slow in the bottom, just leaning into any feelings of tightness or wherever feels good, and then coming out of the bottom. Of course, only go as low. Sorry, my eye is very itchy. Freya actually poked me in the eye with one of her coins earlier, and it's gone a bit red and funny. But only going to a depth that suits you and feels comfortable to you. There is also the option to sit on a chair. So I'm just going to put this down, otherwise my arm will get very tired. Sit on a chair, squat to a chair or to a step or to a bench or to a coffee table, if that feels more comfortable. So make sure you pick whichever feels best for you. So weights up, arm locked out, keeping the weight directly overhead. We're going to push the knees out as we come down. So I like to have an arm out for balance, and I'm going to drive my knees out over my toes and sit nice and low in that squat, and then drive out at the bottom, just like that. 5 more. Nice big exhale on the way up. Don't worry if knees or hips or anything click. There we go. And as you can tell, even if you just got no weight in your hand, as that arm is just pressed overhead, shoulder gets very tired. So shoulder is working as well. Swapping sides. Lock that arm out, keep that weight overhead, arm out for balance or whatever feels good. Remembering to push those knees out over the toes so that they don't collapse in on themselves. One more. Lovely. Right, pop that weight down. And we're going straight into a side lunge with a lateral raise. Now, if it feels good to do so, keep that heel elevated on the leg that is bending. So nice wide stance, grabbing 2 dumbbells, or again, you can just use your hands. Just reference, these are only 1 kilogram. That's all I've got available, so that's what I'm going to use. And as we bend through this leg, These arms are going up and then they're coming down as I push back towards the middle. Okay, 6 on this leg. And then we're swapping to the other side. Just holding it for a couple of seconds. When you've reached that point that you've got to. One more. So don't rush out the bottom of there. Right, change sides. So again, if it feels good to do so, elevate that heel. Faking some ankle mobility just helps us to get some more depth than we would be able to without it. Remember to keep this leg nice and straight, the one that's not bending. Get that nice stretch on the inner thigh. Looking straight ahead, chest forward. Good, nice exhale as you push back to the middle. And this is the last one. Lovely, right. Shake it off, okay. Back to that overhead squat. After a little rest, of course. I've got some squash today. If you don't know what squash is, please comment. Apparently it's just a UK thing. But at least I remembered a drink today, right? It's the small wins. Right, back to that overhead squat. Grabbing whatever you're using, bringing it up overhead, lock that arm out. Again, trying to look straight ahead, keep the chest up and forward as much as possible. Arm out for balance, drive the knees out. And at the bottom, if it feels good to do so, I just want you to lean and touch the floor on that side with that arm that's out for balance, all right? Don't do that if it doesn't feel good. Let's come to the bottom. Lean, touch down. Remember, if yours looks like this, absolutely fine. That is where your body's at. I've been squatting for a long time. Through a hip injury and all sorts of things going on with my knees, so these are movements I'm quite confident in. My body's quite happy to do them, but sometimes, depending on where I am or if I've got into my own head, because psychology plays a huge part to these movements that we do. If I tell myself that there is a chance that my hip might hurt, it will just start hurting, even though there's actually nothing wrong with it anymore. It's fully healed. But psychology is it just plays such a big part, like it's not spoken about enough. So it's almost like when you think a floor is icy and you immediately change how you walk without even thinking about it, your body just does it for you because your body's very clever and it will do anything to protect you. It's like one of those things. Other side, lock that arm out, weight overhead, arm out for balance, driving the knees out. And if it feels good to do so, lean, tap the floor, or just lean as far as feels comfortable. So all movement is a skill, and we build those skills by repeating those movements in lots of different ways. Lovely, 2 more. Whew. That has made me feel very warm. All right, side lunges. Again, if it feels good, elevate one heel on a wedge or a book. Nice wide stance. This leg stays nice and still, trying to get a stretch here. This knee is bending out over the toes, arms up to shoulder height, hold, and then push back to the middle. And again, looking straight ahead. I am terrible for looking at my feet. One more. Perfect. Switching legs. Elevate that heel. Chest up, looking straight ahead. Holding at the bottom just for a second, just to feel that stretch, just to check in with everything that's going on. Two more. Last one. Perfect. Oh, my shoulders are aching. All right, we're just going to get that out of the way. Right, that's superset 1 done. Moving on to superset 2. First movement is a windmill. Now again, you can do this with no dumbbell. You can do it with a kettlebell. You can do it with anything. You can hold anything in your hand, provided it's safe to do so. And I'm just going to go with this 1 kilogram weight to begin with, because my hamstrings are still recovering from Tuesday's bodyweight class. They still feel quite sore. So I don't want to push myself too much in this movement because it's very hamstring dominant and they're going to get a nice stretch. But if a muscle hasn't healed properly, the last thing we want to do is like give it more damage. So I'm just going to go gentle. So a windmill is a really lovely way to get lots of rotation in the torso and improve mobility sort of in the hamstring and with any sort of bending movements. And these are movements that they're not conventional gym exercises, although windmill's quite well known. It's not something you see on lots of programs. And the trouble with many sort of, conventional programs that you might download off the internet for the gym or for dumbbells or any weighted movement is they only have you moving through one plane, and they seem to be lacking in any kind of like rotation or bending in the torso. And those things are much more useful for everyday life. If you think about, the fact that you bend and reach to get things, you bend down and rotate and reach to get things off the floor. It's kind of important to be skilled in those movements because they're movements that we do every day. Anyway, enough of my lecture. Same thing, it's hand directly overhead, racking a kettlebell in exactly the same way as we did in the first exercise. And if you've never done this before, I want you to focus on just sliding your hand down the outside of your leg. Eyes look towards the dumbbell. And you twist, trying to keep the legs straight, and then coming back up. If that feels fine, you can then start to put the hand on the inside of the thigh. Stick the bum out, legs are straight, bringing it back up. Or if you're freakishly mobile, go straight away for this hand is just going to try and go and touch the ground in between the feet. So eyes look to the dumbbell, bring it down and up. That's about as far as I'm going to get today because my hamstrings are not happy. But we're going to do 6 with the dumbbell in one hand and 6 with the dumbbell in the other. So choose your starting hand. Pick whether you're going to go outside, inside, or straight down. We go. Eyes look towards the dumbbell. And then bring it back up. Again, so this hand is just aiming directly in between the feet. Eyes stay on the dumbbell, which does admittedly make me feel a bit dizzy, but do your best. Keep those knees locked out. Nice wide stance. Toes are pointing outwards. Oh, I'm going to lose an AirPod. I always call them earpods because obviously they go in your ear, but it's an AirPod. One more on this side. Lovely. Nice and slow, remember, trying to just check in with everything that's going on in the body, stopping where it feels comfortable. You might find you get further on one side than the other. It's totally normal. On the other side, looking towards the dumbbell, reaching down. See, that side is not as bendy on me. I can't touch the floor. I'm not going to worry about it. It's been a long time since I've done any windmills. Oh, I got it then. Just turns out I just needed to ease myself in. There goes the ear pod. Sorry if that was a horrible noise. One more. Now, windmills are not something I do very often, but I would like to get better at them. So don't take mine as a perfect example. I've still got to work on them as well. Next one is down on the mat. You need some room overhead as well. I'm going to do this with my kettlebell. Or I might just angle that down just so you can see a bit better. Here we go. Oh, wrong way. There we are. And I'm just going to clear myself a bit of space as well. Try not to damage the floor with all these. So, lying yourself down, a dumbbell you would hold like this, dumbbell through the middle. Knees can be bent or straight, it really doesn't matter, but you want your head relaxed down. Take your weight straight above the chest, and you're just going to take it behind you. You can touch the floor, it doesn't have to. Obviously you can, in the gym, we would do this on a bench. And it would increase the range of motion that we were using. We're going to go for 6 of these. We're going to do it super slow on the way down and then up nice and smooth, trying to keep the lower back grounded. Focus on drawing the pelvic floor up, squeezing the belly button into the back. Last one. As always, you're welcome to pause, do more reps, do less reps, whatever feels good for you. And then back to our windmill. 6 reps on each side. And we are nearly done. Last one little round. Could have probably saved some time by not whinging on about how most gym programs don't include rotations, but sorry about that. Feet nice and wide, toes pointed. Dumbbell overhead or hand overhead or cuddly toy overhead, whatever you're using. Pick whether you're going outside, inside or straight down. 6 on this arm. Eyes at the hand. Lots of twisting. Oh, my ear pod again. Twisting in the torso. Trying to keep that arm as straight as possible, which is very difficult, especially if you haven't done these before. One more on this side. There we go. Oh, I'm so hot. I might have to start opening the doors. It's so hot in here. Oh, other side. Ear pod to make sure they're not going to fall out. Eyes on the dumbbell as much as possible. Really slow it down. Shift the hips where they need to go, but keep the legs straight. 2 left. Lovely stuff. Right, again, back onto the mat. I'll just angle this back down. Probably doesn't make much of a difference, but it just makes me feel better. There we go. Grabbing your weight, lying back, comfortably supporting it over the top of the chest. And then very slowly, elbows come by ears. Trying to keep the lower back pressed onto the floor, draw the belly button in. I get a lovely stretch across my rib cage when I do these. If you do have an exercise bench at home, you could lie on that, and that will just increase the range of motion that you're able to use. Obviously, this kettlebell's not the best because it touches the ground quite quickly. I'm just going to do 2 more because they feel really nice and slow. Beautiful. Bring yourself up and give yourself a little round of applause. Well done you, if this was your little bit of movement for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll chat to you in the group. Let me know if you tried it. Let me know what you thought, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.